Kings, first I wanted to just say thank y'all for just being here, right? And when I'm saying thank y'all for being here, I don't mean just on the show. I mean like thank y'all for being here, like showing up. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of times, black men we just ain't present like that in our community for our young folks. You know what I'm saying? Of course, in our group we are, but just in general, it ain't enough black men being able to show our young black folks. You know what I'm saying? Like what it is out here. So I just want to say thank you, right? So I want to do a little introduction, let everybody know who everybody is. My name is Keith Strickland. I'm the founder and owner of Making the Transition. Shoot.
Mike Smoke. That's
Yeah, you can if you want to. Like, also, I know you represent the company, so if you don't want to represent your company, you ain't got to say that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to put you out there like that. So we don't grow them now.
Mm-hmm.
Nick Pettiford.
And I'm Ron Golden, founder and owner of Double R Village Rare.
So today, man, I just want to have a conversation, real talk, just as black men, you know what I'm saying, what we see with our young black folk. We just came from doing a school program, which y'all don't know about this, but y'all missed out. We just did this thing, it was like a Shark Tank program. And I used to sell drugs in my old neighborhood, so all the areas where I used to sell drugs at, I go back to the same community, I do school programs now. So I called my homies up and asked my homies would they come to me, come with me to the school so that we could just show up and just talk to the kids about the stuff that we know about. Like, don't none of us have all the answers, but together we got a lot more to answer because we all done live life, right? So we all just showed up, went to a school, let these students talk to us about what it was like to try to look at how can they be an entrepreneur and fit something in their own neighborhood. And we just gave them tips and pointers and stuff that we learned from being in business and being in the streets and just out here living. So that's where we just came from. So we just had this dope day, energy all positive, and I just felt like it'd be a good time for us to man back and have a conversation. What topic y'all want to start off on, man? We can talk about a little bit of everything. I don't want to throw out the topic. I want to see like what's on y'all mind. What do y'all want to talk about? So now, if y'all want me to throw out a topic, I can do that. But
I think it's key is just giving jewels to the community. Like when you said where you came from and why you're doing it, and what's self driving you to go into the community where you sell drugs at, and why are you doing the things that you're doing. I think that's key because a lot of times we don't see the end result. We always see is what we think we see, and that could be a mirage in somebody's eyes.
hmm so I guess that's a good way to kick it off. First, appreciate it. But man, I truth be told, I still be in the hood right now, poor, trying to find a way to eat, struggling. If it wasn't for the drugs I sold, drugs gave me exposure, drugs gave me a life, drugs gave me the opportunity to be able to start businesses. But drugs also destroyed my communities, took a lot of lives away, and hurt a lot of people. So like the families who I sold drugs to, the people who I sold drugs to, those are parents now, and those parents' children, they suffering because they got addicted to the drugs that we sold. So it's only right for me now that I done seen the world, owned these businesses, made money, did all these things, for me to go back and teach these young folks and stuff their parents couldn't teach them because somebody like me manipulated they weakness. You get what I'm saying about that? Like you grew up in Miami, you already know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Like drugs rob the life out of a person.
yeah,
And but when we do that, what we do is we now make it where this parent can't get a child the richness of life, the joy of life, the simple things in life because that drug got a hold of them. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be a man and know what I did, grow, get this exposure, and become a better person, and still move the same way. I can't do that. All right. So,
yeah. It definitely handicap you in ways that you never really think. Like you said, long term, um, you just live in that moment now. You're in that now present versus what tomorrow is. Like I think we all suffer from that, living for today and not tomorrow. Um,
you got a great point too, because that ain't just drugs. That's a whole lot of different ways.
yeah,
Right? But I think I found my first topic. If y'all don't mind, I want to alley oop it over to y'all.
Okay.
I'm watching these young folks do drugs now, thinking it's cool. When folks don't understand crack, all this stuff started off the same way. Heroin, that was an artistic drug. Folks did heroin like musicians, all the folks who was popping. Then when it came to coke, like we was selling crack and coke to folks who was in high school, like the athletes, the pretty girls, and they was hot. People started using it, trying to be like them, ended up getting turned out, and then they fell off. Don't nobody come in as a junkie. Don't nobody come in as a junkie. And what's bothering me now is I'm watching these young folks using drugs, thinking that it's something new. It ain't new. It's just a new drug, but it's the same outcome. You know what I'm word right there. It's us, people that done live. It's people who done seen it. You know what I'm saying? Got people in our own families that done failed to it. Got homies who done failed to it. Got females we used to kick it with that done failed to it. Like, let's talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I can alley oop it over to y'all, however y'all want to do it. But I refuse to watch these young folks get snatched up off these streets by the same things, thinking that this is something different. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter if it's a pill, it don't matter if you're smoking it, don't matter if you snorting it, don't matter if you got it in a bottle. It's eventually gonna get the best of you.
I think that basically, like I said, back in the day, it used to be more of a situation where people were, it was more hidden, and it was more of a thing where if you were doing drugs, it was kind of like a behind the scenes thing. But now, and then back then, you had more people that was afraid of drugs. You knew the users and the crackheads and stuff that you knew that was out there, and you didn't want to be like that. Now, people aren't your traditional crackheads where they're losing their homes and stuff, and now it's more glorified. So now that people are more glorifying these younger generation, these kids and stuff, are now looking at it like, oh, it's cool because just because I do this, I'm not going to end up like this. But they don't see the long-term ramifications of it and stuff. And I think that's what the big problem is being glorified as being something cool until it actually touches somebody they actually know or gets close to home. They don't see what the potential danger of it is and stuff.
I think also though, if you look at it, we're talking about just this time phrase and everything. I think that we also got to look at it from just the time in itself. Like when you said back in the day, back in the day we was selling drugs because we wanted to hustle. We was getting money. Now they're selling drugs because they want to party. They chilling. So it's a different mindset. And now, before, the way the drugs was brought into society, the way that it came across to over here, and now you got football numbers. You get caught with certain drugs. You getting football numbers. Life in prison. That's the difference between yesterday and today. That's the difference. And that's key. And a lot of times, when we look back or reflect back and say, well, yeah, back in the day I was selling drugs or I was doing whatever the situation was, it was a different mindset. And that's key now. And that's in everything. You got this, it's your mindset.
You know, this would be killing me, right? I sold drugs because that was what was in my neighborhood, man. Like, I walk up the street, I'm walking past 4 crack houses, right? So everybody selling crack, selling powder. My thing became crack and weed, right? Folks would make their money selling crack and then go spend their money to buy weed. So I was like, let me sell weed because that's what everybody buying in the hood.
Right.
But they got a whole different world. Like, they can sell stuff on the internet now. They don't have to sell a drug. Like, for us, we couldn't get out the hood. We ain't have access to nothing else. We ain't have no stores in the neighborhood where we could work at. We ain't have no other way that we can get no kind of money. So we gonna hustle because that's all we got. But for them, they can sell stuff on Instagram, on TikTok. They can do a website. You can sell stuff in places you ain't never been, seen, or even known, heard about, none of that. So it ain't even necessary. Like, it ain't necessary. If you want to be a hustler, you can hustle in 1,000 different ways with the same grind, get the same kind of money, and you ain't never got to risk your freedom of your life. So it's like, I get it. You want to eat. I ain't going to take that away from you. I'm not going to tell nobody they shouldn't have a chance to eat. Just eat in a way where you can keep the plate. You know what I'm saying? I look at me. Judges, lawyers, all these folks got my money. You know what I'm saying? We got in the shootouts. I got a daughter that ain't here no more. The judge, the attorney, all these other folks that I had to pay all this money to, they family's good. It's my family that suffered. It's my homeboys who kids I got to tell about their fathers. So it's like, if you want to hustle, hustle. Just hustle in a way that makes sense. So, alright, y'all.
Just to alley off of that though, it's easy for me to like one thing that I know is prevalent now and it was different then was that nobody taught me about credit. Nobody taught me about business credit. Nobody taught me how to set up an LLC. Nobody taught me how to put that into a trust. Nobody taught me these things that would help me be able to be in a position now where I can move, in society. What I do know and what I know that through progression, I know, okay, if I hustle XYZ, like now if I did that same type of hustle, that's an easy sentence, right? So let's say like now the young generation, they say, well, I just hit a lick for $50,000. You hit a lick for $50,000 now. Is that really a lick if you're doing 20 years behind that $50,000?
So
Cause that's, if you break
Just-
that math down, that's modern day slavery.
you're
You
right.
working
Just,
pennies.
just a thought though. Just a thought. That's easy for us. We done had $50,000 multiple times,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
But for a person who ain't never had nothing in life, because I remember me,
Mhm.
I had this saying, I would rather die trying to get something than live poor all my life. But this the other side of it, what you was talking about with the business credit, with this and with that. When you hustling and your life is based around people in the hood seeing you, you ain't trying to do none of that, right? So we got to get it in the mindset of why you even want money. Like now, I want money because I want to be able to live good, not look good, right?
I'm gonna tell you, tap in on that though too, is when you growing up, a lot of times you become product of the environment of what you see. At the same time, if that's all you see is sports, entertainment, the niggas in the hood, the drug dealers, whatever, that's what you aspire to be. What has to happen, and I said this a long time ago on the panel before, when you got entrepreneurs, you got businessmen, this younger generation has to be able to see, and they got to be visible in these areas to have something to aspire to. If you a businessman and you don't ever go back into the hood and show these kids that, hey, you can get a house like this without going that route. You can get these cars without going that route. They got to be able to see that and visualize that. And once they can see that, then they can aspire to be more, because then they'll know that this is not the only path that I have to go through, that I can go to get these things like everybody else got. And like I said, I sat on a panel one time, and these head CEOs that was from like a lot of these big tech companies and stuff was asking, why don't kids want to be lawyers, doctors and stuff? I said, because that's not what they see. What they see is what's in their communities. And the only people that come back to the communities are your athletes, are your rappers, your singers, stuff like that. I said, if you guys did more at the time I was younger, I was saying you got to go back into the community and show these kids that, look, you can have this too.
And just a thought to that. When you come back in the community, you got to come back in a way that make them feel good. You can't come back in a way and tell them, hey, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do, this is what you need to do. You need to come back in a way and say, hey, who are you? You know what I'm saying? How can I help you feel better about yourself? How can I lift you instead of trying to make you into who I want you to be? Because if somebody accept the person for who they are, like when we start working with each other, the first thing you told me, it's been major companies that have tried to work with my company. You told me we don't want to change nothing about what you're doing. We just want to help you do it better and get it to more people. You remember that?
Yeah.
I've been rocking with you since then.
Yeah.
Never was afraid of like, hey man, I'm a little company. I'm finna work with this giant. Giants can eat up a small company. I mean, right or wrong.
Yeah.
I never had that fear because you saw what I was doing, rocked with what I was doing, and said, let me lift you.
Right.
Let me take my wisdom because I've been doing it longer than you. Let me take my resources because I got more of them than you and just help you, right?
Right.
If you had came and was like, bro, you doing this, but I can help you do that, then I would have ran. Because I ain't built this 15 years or 18 hours a day. I ain't built this for somebody to come tell me what it need to be.
Right.
No,
And that's the same way our young folks is.
Yeah.
not only that, but to piggy off of something a little bit that was just said earlier, is that it's very important for them to see, to be transparent, right? But also to see that the mindset really changed. Like for example, like you went to jail. I went to jail. I did 5 years, and with that, I didn't get out and be in the position I'm in now because I still had that same mindset 10 years ago. I had to sit down, rethink some things, get some things in order, and come out with a whole different mindset in order for me to be where I'm at right now. And that's another thing that people have to see. They have to see that shift. Because they don't see that shift, they say, okay, well, like you said, the athletes or whoever they're looking at, well, they got a silver spoon anyway. They didn't really go through nothing. But when they see somebody like you that's in front of the same community and you grind it out, they know you went to jail, or they know you went through different things. They know you was in a shootout. They know you was down the street hustling, and then you come out and you're living a life that's not a life still condoning some of the things that you went through back then, but your mind is shifted and you're still successful, or doing better than most, or they can see and look and say, okay, well, you know what? Wow, he did this way, and he's saying he did that way, and this was the end result. I think that's major.
So
go ahead.
just something I do want to bring up because of what you said. They can't represent their company right now because they representing themselves on this, right?
Absolutely.
But they represent a major corporation.
Absolutely.
You got two folks who sold drugs for a living for decades.
Right.
We served our time, came
Right.
back, and we could sit down with folks like this and build,
Absolutely.
right? Because we
Absolutely.
changed. I learned how to read by trading somebody my lunch and my dinner for 2 weeks while I was incarcerated. First week was to get the book. You already know how that worked. The second week was for somebody to sit down with me and help me go from a sentence to a paragraph to a page to a chapter. I could read and identify words, but I ain't retaining nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I had to learn how to read so I could sit down. I'm serving Fed time. You sit down at the table, they read the newspaper. That's when folks getting money.
Right.
But to
Absolutely.
be able to have a conversation at the table, you got to be able to read the newspaper.
Right.
I'm in here with folks who got caught with 300, 400, 600 million dollars. I want to know you, bro. But I
Right.
can't just come up and be like, hey, big homie, I got to talk about what's on this newspaper.
Right.
So I had to learn how to read to do that. But that opened up the door for me to be able to have the conversations with bruh, to be able to have a conversation
Right.
with the big companies. I had to change me before I could change it.
Right.
And that's the part that our people are not seeing. You can't be the same. I used to run through females thinking I'm doing something, right? I can't be that dude. I can't be out here running through females, but then I'm over here trying to sit down with corporate because guess what? When one of them females come back and say, hey, they gonna have to be like, bro, we can't, you got to deal with that first because if that's a bad look for you, that's a bad look for us. So we gonna have to, so you got to change your character. You got to change what make your heart beat. You know what I'm saying? You got to change the fiber of you as a man before you can change your circumstances in this world. Nobody's talking about that. You get what I'm saying? Like, bro, y'all know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that too has to come down to sharing that information and knowledge too. A lot of times, I know me and Smoker had this conversation before about the fact that in our community, we'll tell you one part of it, but we won't give you a whole part of it.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
The whole
We don't
game.
give you the back end. We'll tell you,
The whole
hey,
game.
go right here, but
Yeah.
we don't tell you once you get there, this is what you have to do.
Right.
Four
And you
men
gotta
right now,
keep going.
successful from different kind of situations. Let's get it back in right here, right now. Then let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I talked about me. I used to have a thing for females, right? I grew up. I wasn't really close to my family, so I used to feel like when I hit different females and I was running through different females, I'm building a relationship with somebody. But I don't. When you got issues with your family, you be having that detachment type of issue. So I want to feel close to somebody, but not close enough to where I'm hurt if they walk off. So I'm running through different females because I want to swap it out. I want to feel like I got somebody there, but not feel like it's a scary thing. But I had to let go of that to walk into my new space. So let's talk about it.
You know what my drug of choice was, y'all? My drug of choice was money. And sometimes, you know, there was a saying that, you know, money's the root of all evil. And really for me it was, and I'm gonna say why. Because it was a point where I got so much money, or I made so much money, and I was so gifted to do it in so many different variations of that it didn't matter. Like for instance, give you an example. From I always thought from a short term perspective, right? If I'm getting this money this way, I wasn't thinking 5 years down the road, how's this gonna affect me? How's it gonna affect anybody that loves me? Like my daughter, when I got incarcerated, my daughter was affected by that, bro. Like she did more time than me because of the things, her whole lifestyle changed. If she goes from being in a $500,000 house to sleeping on somebody's floor, that's major. So I'm in jail thinking about that. You know what I mean? That's major for me. You know what I'm saying? So now I don't make, all money ain't good money. I turn down deals every day. I turn down relationships every day. Everybody can't afford my time. Everybody can't be around me and bust it up like how we busted it up right now. Sometimes you gotta disconnect. It could be somebody that's close to you. Everybody can't elevate and go where you're going. There's a saying. You know what I mean? A rocket, once it reaches a certain altitude, the boosters fall off. Everybody's never gonna be connected with you. Everybody can't go where you're going. Those are the type of things that I had to learn. You know what I'm saying? So being money, being the root of all evil, all money ain't good money. That was a lesson for me. So now, when I'm thinking about different business ventures or different things, and from that perspective, I'm thinking about how this is going to affect me. Am I jeopardizing my livelihood? Am I jeopardizing, maybe I don't care enough about myself. Am I jeopardizing my daughter's livelihood? Or anybody that depends on me on it every day? I got people that depend on me that just work for me. I got control of people's lives right now that work for me. That's one of the things like when I started this business and it was called Double R, Real is Rare. That was something that as a group collectively, me and my peoples came up with because a lot of times people not real. You could get a group of folks like we are right now, and they can say what you want, what they want you to say, or what you know what I mean, or what you think they want you to say, but they're not gonna sit here and be real. They don't give you, like we just said, give you real game.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you real game. I'm not scared if you go and you go make money over here, cause guess what? And excuse my friends, you know what I mean? Like, shit, what you eat don't make me shit.
And
At
soon
the-
they
at
when
the
they
end
spend
of-
the
at
money,
the end of
they
the
make
day.
it. They come back to you.
Yeah. That's why people connect with me because I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna just tell you how to go out here and make 100,000, 200,000, 300,000. I'm gonna give you the whole game and bless you behind it. And if you're really real, I'm gonna show you, and I'll rock out with you from point A to point Z. But again, that comes with just me, you know, having that discernment and saying, well, you know what? Like, all money ain't good money ever. Like, I'm like all of us got things to do today. We all like. I looked at my man watch 2 times, checking the time. Like, okay, I gotta do something.
How much more time you got?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm looking, and but that just speaks. That just shows you time is money. I think one of the most biggest disrespectful thing if you could ever do to me is disrespect my time. After being locked up for 5 years, that's all I got, bro. So I'll take it there with you if you disrespect my time. You tell me, Keith, yo, Brian, I'm gonna meet you in an hour, and I'm still sitting here 2 hours later, bro. You disrespected my time, bro. And I might not snap at you or disrespect you from that perspective.
Yeah,
I
but
promise you I ain't
change.
gonna deal with you.
Yeah, time done changed. I
Yeah,
ain't
it's
looking
over
at you
with.
the
I'm
same
not
no
dealing
more.
with you, bro.
Yeah, I'm the same way. My peace, my time.
Yeah.
If you mess up my money, I could charge that. Because
Yeah, I'll
you
take
might
that
not
and
know
shit.
no better. You might not have known no better.
Right.
My peace and my time, because
Over
that's
with.
something that we all got reference to.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want your time played with. You don't want nobody throwing off your emotions.
Yeah.
Why you do it to me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, you may be irresponsible with money. You may never had to carry nobody on your back, employees, family, whatever. You may not have the same kind of responsibility level. It may look different. Peace and time, we all understand, right? I want to ask y'all this same thing though, cause y'all corporate, y'all in the business lane. So the shift that we had made, we could have made them a little different, and we could have made them a little slower. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't 100% polished,
Mm-hmm.
but y'all had to move in a whole different way. Like, person wouldn't know where you come from unless y'all tell them.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So I want to know, what was that like for you? What was the changes?
On my side, I just kind of look at life like the biggest thing what y'all was saying, and I referenced that today. You can get back everything 10 times fold, over and over and over. But
Mhm.
the only thing that you can never get back is time. So I look at my life like I grew up in the hood, and my outlet at that time was sports, but same thing. You know, I got hurt, an injury that I had no control over, but I had to figure out from that point what I was gonna do with my life. You know what I'm saying? And we all growing up in the hood, you see the same thing. The common denominator is everybody hustling, everybody doing their thing. And I just said, to me, the levels don't add up with the numbers. And what I mean by that is, you start off at a certain level on the streets. As you grow, you get jammed up. That time is not equivalent to the levels that you did on the street. Like, that time they sit down, that time they give you and you sit down is way greater than what you did on the streets.
Right.
It never adds up. And some people are willing to take that chance, that risk, and then I was one of the ones that say, this shit don't add up to me. Like, it don't make sense. So, you know, and I know for me the only way it's gonna change is I gotta change. I gotta do something about it. So my change was change my environment. So I'm not running from the problem. That's me facing the problem, but doing it in a different environment. Because when you're in your comfort zone, it takes a lot to rattle you because you're in your comfort zone. But when you are placed in a situation where you're not comfortable with that, that's gonna keep you on your toes. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just did a whole switch. I moved to a whole nother city, whole state, no family.
Mm.
And in my mind I said, if I had family here, I'm gonna depend on them when I get in the jam.
Right.
I'm so far away that I can't depend on nobody but God and myself.
Mm.
Me saying, okay, yeah, I'm not where I wanna be, but I had a praying grandmother, as that song say. I got a praying grandmother, and that's my roots. That make me think about all that. Like, okay, I seen my granny sit down on the couch plenty of days. I ain't understanding because I wasn't there. I wasn't in tuned in that. And what I mean by that is she read her Bible, she read her word, and that's what she filtered into her. So the things that you deal with in life, it didn't make you exempt, but that's the strength that you needed to survive and make it. Was I exempt from problems when I came here? Nah, because I felt like I had to start all over. I had nothing. Like, the grace of God, all I had was faith in, like, I am not gonna lose. Like, I am not going back home. Because I felt like if I'd have went back, I'd have been a failure. You know, like, 'cause the odds was against me. So many people, man, yeah, you'll be back, you'll be back, you'll be back. And I use that as motivation to keep going. Like, my stories that I think about that helped me get to where I'm at in life, and I'm still going. Like, I haven't mastered anything. I'm not comfortable. Every day I'm thankful.
Mm-hmm.
I do gratitude. I appreciate, thank God for what I have, what He has given me. But I still look that there's room to grow. But when I just think about everything that was given and what He aligned me to, and I just start looking at my surroundings, I wasn't privileged to have that where I came from. So sometimes you got to get placed in a situation to see an opportunity to take advantage of that opportunity. As I was just telling Nick a little earlier today, for me, my fight was always different fight from y'all brothers because I'm a big dude. So it's a stigma that's placed on a big dude. You know what I'm saying? It's you doofus, you know what I'm saying? You can't comprehend, you slow, all that. So I always had to fight them fights. Till this day, I still gotta fight them fights. So it's never a level of comfort. It's just a level where, you know, you don't have to prove anything to nobody but yourself. But at the same time, all you want is that opportunity so that you can shine like everybody else. But, you know, that's how I look at life, you know, and I tell, you know, younger cats, whatever your it is in life, once you figure that part out,
Yeah.
whatever that it is, go at it. Don't put it off. I got tomorrow. There's no such thing as tomorrow. You gotta live for the day in preparation so that tomorrow you can enjoy that. But if you don't take it, and I feel like for a lot of, like y'all said earlier, like when you don't have a support cast that's teaching you from day one, like when you look at our counterparts and you say, damn, they exempt, they don't have problems. No, they have problems, but how they face them is different. They're taught from birth. All right, this is what it is. You know, us, we have to kind of take that maze and navigate here, navigate there. But if you got a family and they all are in law, you're not gonna see too many deviate away and try this, try that. You're gonna keep the legacy going. If you in medicine, if your great granddaddy was a doctor, guess what? You're a doctor. You keeping it going. So it's very rare where you see that concept where it's lined up like that. So for us, we have to figure out. That's why I say whatever your it is, the earlier you get it and start walking into that path until you reach your light. We're not taught that. So a lot of the areas where you were saying earlier, like your finances, we don't understand the value of credit. Till this day, I see adults. That's a credit. What is that? But not understanding like really what that does for you, the power. Like, yeah, we want the monies, but sometimes everybody don't have access to the liquid, and then the credit is just as strong as the liquid.
Yeah. I just want to throw a thought out. It took me a long time. I made my first $1 million selling drugs. I probably was 17, 18 years old, something like that, right? So I've been getting money for a long time. And what shifted for me when I figured out money is not a tool to get the things I want, Money is a tool to extend my time period on how I can live the way I want to live with my purpose. What I mean by that is when I get a check, that don't mean, oh, I can go bust it down and go get this thing I've been looking for. That is not what money is made for. And that's all I'm asking for is just commit to loving people. You know why? That youth who you don't reach might be that youth who might be dead tomorrow.